Okay, show the full image, man. They keep guessing. It's a T-Rex, bro. Someone guessed it right. It's a T-Rex. Come on, man. What? Oh man. Yeah, I was in shock too, bro. I mean, I didn't even think that it's a T-Rex. Deception 100. Nice editing, unexpected. Yeah, man, come on. Credits to the editor. GG. Okay, we still have more pictures? I think we still have more. Ah, man. It's a camel. I don't know. Camel lives in deserts, right? I mean, it's giraffe, mammoth, llama. Oh, okay. You guys are getting creative with the guessing. Okay, let's just show the image, man. It's the last image, but it's the last image. It's a dog, guys. Come on, you already guessed it for the first picture. Why don't you guess again? It's a dog again. Yeah, I know, right? Okay, guys. Yay! GG, guys. Nice try. NT. Nice try for this ice breaking. GG WC. King will play. Okay, guys. I think that's it for our ice breaking session, right? Did you guys have fun? Did you guys have fun? So fun? Yeah, I know. That's so fun comment. So sarcastic. I'm sorry. Okay, thank you guys for playing the ice breaking that we created for you guys. And we hope that it'll brighten up the mood for tonight's workshop. I mean, it's night in Vietnam and here I'm sorry if I'm mistaken. I think it's the same as us in Vietnam, right? I don't know. Okay, thank you guys for playing. Now on to the next session, right? Before we start the presentation from our main guest in this evening, we have the presentation.
Recording in progress.
We have the presentation timeline. So for the first one, we have the introduction to the context of the problem. And then the second one is the Crazy 8's demonstration. And then the third one is the Crazy 8's individual exercise. And then for the next one, we're going to be split into different breakout rooms. And then in each breakout rooms, you will have 3 people in it, consist in 3 people. So you'll make teams of 3. And then after that, you will make a presentation about the solution that your team made in the breakout room, and then we'll have a quick demo about Figma. And then after that, I hope, and I think you will have tons of questions about design. About designs. So without further ado, I'll give the next session to Mr. Ferdian Aditya. If you please take the stage.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Billy, for the ice breaking. That's really entertaining. So yeah, good evening, everyone. So first of all, I would like to welcoming all the participants to the workshop on design thinking in product development. So yeah, in this evening workshop, we will learn together about how can we create a creative idea in solving a real world problem and translate our idea into some kind of prototype system. So maybe before we jump off to our main session, I would like to introduce a little bit about our speaker. So today's workshop will be led by Mr. Boris Hasyan. He is a design innovation consultant and is currently based in Singapore. And Mr. Boris Hasyan so many experiences in design innovation. And one of them is that he is the ex-director of design ops at Gojek. And he is also an ex-head of design for GrabFood at Grab. And here's the cool part, that he is the first Indonesian Google expert for product design. So it's wow, right? Yeah, and yeah, I have a feeling that this workshop will be really insightful and useful for us. Okay, yeah, maybe so without any further ado, maybe we can just jump off to our main session. And Mr. Boris Hasian, the time is yours.
Okay. Thank you, Mas Ferdi, and the organizer for inviting me, especially also Kakariana for again inviting me to be participate in this activity with the students. It's always been an honor to always give back to the community and especially for the students, and hopefully what I'll be sharing tonight can be useful. Best practice can be used immediately tomorrow for you guys to start doing some design. So I'll just gonna go straight to the talk. So I'm gonna give some intro first. Can I share my screen, Mas Ferdi?
Yeah, sure. You can just start share your screen.
Okay. Can anyone see my screen now? It's a
Yes, we
Figma
can see
screen.
your screen.
Okay. So this is how designers now doing presentation. We don't use any more slides. We do it start directly on the Figma, the tools that we use for design. Okay, okay. So before I am gonna give you the context. I think it's worth to also like give you some basic the context and also the some a bit slide of experience and some thinking behind why we are gonna do what we are gonna do later, the activity. So we are gonna talk about design thinking, but if you look at design thinking now, if you just Google on on Google and you'll find like a tons of resource there. So many theories. I don't want to like repeat the same thing again. So I'll be just sharing what works for me from designing successful products for hundreds of millions of users. It might not work for you, so bear in mind that any theory, any framework, or any like a process that was written on book, for example, it's not always you apply those 100%. It will always need to be assessed and based on the context, the situation. If you work later in like a company, it also depends on the strategy, the timeline, and so on. So this might work for some of you guys, but also might not work for some of you. So just take this as a like some insight that probably can be helpful, and then it's up to you as well, to assess and rating, asking always like why this is like this, what works for me, what doesn't work. So that's how you will like you need to like always uh, process some new knowledge. Okay, I just gonna give first example. Like I asked some questions like what is the most important thing in building innovative product, and then some of you answer like impact towards life, most fully consumer needs, problem that occur, uniqueness, creative idea, robust, is accessible, uh, and then reporting product relevant customer benefit, qualities, function, and so on. So seems like there are a lot of most important things to the innovation. Like there's no one thing that you can say, okay, this is like the most important thing. There's all like multiple. I'll show you later. So there will be like some framework that you can use as a reference, which is called the 10 types of innovation. I will show you how it applies to my previous project. Also about like what is needed to produce creative ideas, right? So creativity, awareness, and so on, like strong vision, brainstorming, open-minded. So there are a lot of things as well that people think is needed to produce creative ideas. Brainstorming, yes. So I'm gonna share with you the past experience. Also, like what we are gonna do tonight will be more about creativity. So I'm gonna do some sketching exercise, which help you to be more creative. Sorry for the time maker. I just messaged Rihanna, so this will be 10 minutes for intro, yeah, before we go to the context. Okay, so also a background of like what I've did before. So this is one of my design app that I designed. It's called Rakuten Viki. So you can see that it was on the stage that Tim Cook, the Apple CEO, presented in 2018. So it was one of the best app in 2018. Also in 2018, the same year, It was in the nominee of Google Play Award, Rakuten Viki. And then also, if you look at, I think Ferdi mentioned about I being the head of design for GrabFood. This also like contributed to Grab now being the largest. So I redesigned the service in 2017. And pretty much everything that I did, I will share with you some of the process. Yeah. So some of people say that innovation is the sweet spot. So the sweet spot of innovation is the business, viability, people desirability, technical feasibility. So this was like a model that introduced by IDEO, which is the one of the popular and well-known design consultant. So there are three things: people, you need to understand their needs; business model, how it works, how can you sustain the business, and the technical feasibility. So there are a lot of aspects there that it's just about being creative and being, like serving people needs. There's also business and this is technical. But once you, for example, designing something complex, for example, like the food delivery service, it's like so many aspects of it. This doesn't really, it might help as a foundation, a simple innovation, but once you go into that complex product, you need to have more things. So there's a framework called 10 types of innovation. Basically, it's showing you like there are 10 aspects when you want to create innovation. So you can search later on Google. It's not just about the product itself. So product is here offering, which is you have a product features, functionality. So usually you're making sure that product is easy to use, making sure that it serves the needs of the customer here. But it's only like a one fifth aspect of the overall innovation. You need to have like a clear profit model, this process itself, like how do you, for example, if you have designers and you have like product managers, engineers inside the company, how do you make a process that support innovation? So it needs to be there as well. So it's not as straight as, okay, we serve the user needs, we have a clear business goals or business metrics or business model, and we have the technology that support. But if you don't have the people who actually will brainstorm on the ideas, identify the problems, explore solutions, and build it, it's not going to work. The innovation won't work. So some of the best practice, at least company that will do like a simple innovation, you need to at least do two things of this 10. But if you want to make it something that is successful, usually people do at least 5 of these. So you need to at least have a profit model, a process where people who can execute it. You have a very excellent product performance, easy to use, serve customer needs. You have also like a clear brand. That's how people perceive your product, and you have an engagement with the customers. So innovation is quite complex, I would say. So it's not just again like what I asked before, and then some of your answers. The most important is there's some needs. There's all like some serving the customer needs as well. So it's not just only one. So if you ask me like what's the most important thing is to know that there is more than one aspect to innovation. Yeah. So that's one. Feel free to ask questions if you have. Yeah. Okay. So which will give me a context to why we are going to do what we are going to do tonight. So the creativity in a successful product, especially in a big company, is always collaborative. So there is no, although for example I was the head of design, it's not like ideas came from me. Yeah. So it's always collaborative across team, not just design, but also if you later do some research in a company, usually we'll have product managers, you will have engineers, you will have marketing, you will have business, and so on. So they are all work together to produce the ideas. So it's always called collaborative creativity. And the method that I use is called the Google Design Sprint, which is initiated by Google in the beginning. So the team who actually come up with this framework called Google Design Sprint identified what are the key to successful product at Google, and they found that yes, people will some great ideas or most of the great ideas come from people actually having a deep deep thinking, so they have their own time to come up with something, but it's always in the context of collaboration. So you will of course meet people in the same room, but you will have some time to do your own thing. So people will be given the time for them to come up with their own ideas, but once they come up with the ideas, then they will discuss with the peers, with the team members, and they will discuss, and then the ideas will evolve. So coming up with the best ideas, or like the most innovative product, or even product that I've shared with you, which bring give a lot of, like, for example, business results, successful, being like the largest, getting some awards from Apple, from Google, is not a one-time process. So it's like a continuous and quite tiring, I would say, at some point. They keep iterating the product, but that's how you innovate. So, for example, I'm sure some of you, if not all of you, have used the food service. So when we redesigned in 2017, what we did, we don't just come up with one idea. So it always like an evolution. So we actually explore 60 plus concepts. So when we say concept here, it's not just like one screen and then we change the layout. It's totally different concept. So one, for example, focusing on health, the other focusing on, like, okay, what if we make it something like a matchmaking. So it's like, like Indonesian is called perjodohan, right? So how do you matchmake people with the same taste, for example? So we explore 60 plus concept. So which bring me to, like, the key to creativity, right? So what's the key to creativity? uh, so the key to creativity is pretty much like coming up with a lot of ideas, just coming up with a lot of ideas. So you don't really have like one genius that will come up with like the best ideas, with the best idea. You will always come up with like tons of ideas. In this case, can be 60, can be hundreds, and then you combine all of those. You do some, it's called cross pollination. You do it as things that doesn't really look like that don't look like they are connected, and then you try to connect them and you combine and you come up with some best solution. So it's always, so the key is always like coming up with tons of ideas. This is also like what we say. So you might saying that, okay, oh, you see, for example, a design on some super app, and you say, oh, okay, this is something that I can also design. But having it only on your mind is useless unless it's executed. So hence, for example, in the Google Design Sprint, when you have an idea of the problems and you have some thoughts of the solutions, you need to transfer it to some tangible artifact that people can look at. So in this case, we are going to use paper and marker, which is, I hope that some of you have prepared the pen and marker. So we are going to do this called Crazy 8. So this is one of the a lot of processes in innovation process to coming up with ideas, but this is one of the key activities. So everyone will do a lot of not a lot, it's eight ideas. That's why it's called Crazy 8. So some of you will find it difficult to do some sketching, but it's actually like this is one of the new language in business. So you need to be able to sketch even though you are not designer. Okay, sketch is a mean for you to communicate ideas. Once you have it sketched or drawn on paper, it's very difficult to have like a wrong interpretation of the idea. Because when you say something, I say that, okay, I am saying that, okay, I have an idea of like there's a three buttons and there's a wheel, for example, yeah, on the page. Then you might put the wheel on the top left, the buttons below. But once you sketch on the paper and put like this, it's very difficult to like think, the other design. So this will help you to avoid misinterpretation of your ideas and help you to communicate and you can discuss well. So we are going to do this. So feel free to do some, this can be like as simple as this. You can always add some notes to the sketches. You can even have, if you are probably consider yourself a good design, have a good design taste, you can even go more complex, which like this. But again, like that's why it's called Crazy 8, because this will be done in 8 minutes. So you need to come up with 8 different ideas, not 8 different layout, yeah, 8 different ideas in 8 minutes. Okay. Feel free to ask questions. I'll answer through the chat. So if not, then we are going to start the activity. I'm going to give you the context before we start the ideation. Okay, so a quick demo of how you can sketch. So basically, sketching is only consists of. Let me show you my. I don't know if I show you paper. Can you see clearly or no? Okay, let me just share my screen again. Okay, so let me show you how to sketch. So use paper and pen. Don't use the digital for now because it's gonna take longer if you're not used to it. So let's say this is your paper, yeah. So sketch, just a basic one. Also like give you some ideas on what actually we sketch. So sketch only consists of like a square or can be rectangle, yeah, and can be a circle and can be just line like this, or just like a wave. So as long as you can draw this 1, 2, 3, 4 things, then you're good to go. Because everything that you sketch is basically only combination of this. So for example, like you want to draw some photos, there you go. And then you want to like show this text that you can just use line. And then if it's not clear, you can always write something like line. Just like photos. Yeah. So please use the paper, yeah, A4 paper. Okay, so if there's no other questions, I'm gonna start giving you first the context. And sorry, let me show you the example. Give me a moment, yeah, because I need to like disable my background so I can show you the paper. Background. Okay. All right. So before we start, you need to grab the A4 paper, yeah, and then you fold it once. I'm not gonna teach you some magic, yeah. It's just a okay. This is the fold once, and then fold twice, yeah, fold twice, and then the last one, the three times, fold again. So you will have, when you open the paper, you will have 8 boxes. Yeah, 8 boxes. So I'm gonna give you 8 minutes to sketch different ideas. I'll tell you later the problems. And then for each of these, it needs to be different ideas, different concept. Cannot be just, it's not a screen flow, it's a concept. Yeah. And then use the marker. And then I will only give you 8 minutes, means that you can only spend maximum 1 minute for each of the boxes. Okay, I'm gonna start if there's no other questions. I'm gonna give you the context now. Yeah. Feel free to ask the questions through the chat. Okay. All right. Okay.